Hi, hi. Good to see you.
Good
My
to see
name
you
is
too,
Tom
Tom.
from hemp-producing.com. I'm here with Mike Klepacz, my co-host, and with Joël Lagneau. And today we're gonna talk some more about industrial hemp, its truths, lies, and legends. And yeah, we're gonna go into it. Yeah, if you would like to explain a little bit about yourself, Joel. What is your background with hemp? What are you doing with Interchanvre?
Yes, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Michael, for these invitations. It's a great project that you have to launch a podcast to begin. So, to introduce a little bit Interchanvre and myself, uh, I'll start how I get into Interchanvre. So, I first of all did a gap year, and during this gap year, I had an interest into ecological, into how to make it in France, how to create an industry in France, especially about textile. And I just searched on the web and I found hemp. I was like, wow, what is this plant? We can do hemp in France. I didn't know what is this plant, and I read a lot of article about it, and I saw that hemp was not only textile; it was plastigy, construction, food, feed, cosmetics, and thousands of others applications. And I was like, wow! And it's not only the applications; it's also ecological on an agronomic point of view, and on its using the products, it's also ecological. So I was like, we have this plant that can do all these things, and we don't know about it. I didn't know about it actually. So it's just like I catch the disease of hemp,
Mhm.
and for 3 years I was talking about it to every people I met. I was doing some research, even during my master degree, which I work for a company in BTP in construction, but in insurance in construction. So, and I did my project on hemp and linen. So there was no link directly with construction's insurance. And at the end of my master, I asked myself, how can I work for this plant? And I did an applications to Interchanvre, but there was no job offer at this time, and they opened me their they recruited me to plan a congress in the Senate in France that we did in 2022. So that was my first job, and then it went well, and I kept working for Interchanvre. And I'm really lucky. I didn't know it yet when I applied. What we have to understand about Interchanvre is that it's kind of the cockpit, or the the place where you can have the more information about the French industry. We have a great overview on every actors, market, uh, political political strategy, and I didn't know that actually. I was not as aware as when I applied. And so Interchanvre is what we call interprofession in France. It's an association that is directly linked to the government, the French government. We work with the Ministry of Agriculture and Finance, and we have different. So we are financed directly by the farmers. So we work for the farmers. You have like a tax on every hectares that are cultivated in France that goes to Interchanvre, and so we work for them. We everything we have to do have to in mind to we have to keep in mind that it has to go back at the end to the farmers and increase their value when they sell their hemp. So we have to federate the branch, the hemp brand, French branch. We have to make communication, to do communications about its ecological purposes, but also its technical applications. We do lots of lobbying, and we talk to every instance, to every structure. So I don't know it's a perfect word in English, but every structure, political, economical, even to students, to everyone that is willing to hear about hemp. We talk to them and introduce them to these plants. And we do also research and development. So we work on a lot of topics. And I don't want to talk too much on this question, but one last point is that we now we are working on a commercial offer. Maybe we'll talk a little bit later. And you have to understand that our mission is to bring more value to farmers, and this offer will enable it by making ecological assets of hemp financially available for agriculture. So we are going to create indicators about biodiversity, carbon, and water, so that enterprise can buy them, and this money will go to farmers. To quickly introduce it, but so this is what we do in Interchanvre, basically.
Very cool. So actually, the thing you missed in the beginning, like a good knowledge source about the possibilities of hemp and of the market of hemp, you are now helping with creating with Interchanvre, and also having the connections with the politics, with the farmers and with the public.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And with the system for the carbon removal and for the water savings, you also help to improve the economical viability of industrial hemp in that sense.
Exactly, yes.
Very nice. And after learning more about industrial hemp in France, what spoke to you most about the history in France, and what really surprised me to you about that?
What surprising me about?
Of course, France has a very big history with industrial hemp, but like you said, you learned about it quite late, even though France has been doing it quite a long time, even though the rest of the world stopped. So what was the most surprising thing you learned about the history of hemp in France?
About the history, that there is a huge history of hemp in the world. In France, we had like this resistance thing that we never left hemp, even though I won't go very far into I won't talk about the Bible that is made out of paper of hemp, or Constitution in US, and it goes back too far in history, because I'm not, it's not my where I feel the most comfortable. But when there was the Marijuana Tax Act in US in 1947, if I'm not wrong.
37, I believe.
You said?
1937.
37, okay. And so France didn't follow it, and they kept producing hemp, because we had a paper factory in the east of France with Bolloré, and the farmers wanted to keep cultivating hemp. So it's thanks to the farmers that we kept cultivating hemp in France. It was really small, like we went until down to 700 hectares, and now, but we kept the knowledge. We kept the history, we kept people that knew these plants. So it is really valuable even now. And then it started to grow and grow more. Now we see with the ecological needs, the reindustrialization that we need in Europe and in France. That hemp is a key to it, but at the same time, when I discovered hemp, I was like, why is there not more hemp in France? Now I have no clue about it. Hemp is not nothing, but almost nothing in the agricultural world. Like we say, France is the second largest producer, and it's only 23,600 hectares. You have more than 24 million hectares only in France. So we are big in France is big in the world of hemp, and it's small in the world of industry and agriculture, but it's really big. In its potential and what it means and what we can do with it. It's huge. So this is what we have to understand to bring hemp to where it should be.
Nice, thank you.
I have a question. I have a question before we get to some truth, lies, and legends. So you had said where you think that hemp should be. So if all things go well, and of course, I would say legislation is in our favor because hemp is so eco-friendly and sustainable and things like that. Where do you imagine? We're about to hit 2025. Which sounds crazy to me. It sounds wild that I'm living in 2025. I'll be 40, and so I remember when I thought we'd be, wearing jetpacks by the time 2025 hit. But now we're talking about simply just trying to be more sustainable. So by 2035, which arguably is not that far away anymore, where do you think hemp's going to be, both in France and in Europe, based on the trends you're seeing?
It will be my own opinion for sure, and even
Sure.
if we didn't do any plan on this, we my feeling is that if hemp doesn't grow as it should grow, it's a really bad sign for humanity itself. Like it will be a nonsense. It's already a nonsense that this plant is not taking more place. But we never know with geopolitical aspects and everything. But I'm positive, really positive about how it will grow. For example, in France, we are planning to double the surfaces into the 5 coming years. So maybe we can say in the 10 coming years, it will be even more for sure. So I think in France it will still we have the structure, we have the knowledge, we have the market, so it will grow, and it's already growing. We only have to bring to help it to grow, to give it the good support to it, and one of them is to bring more value to farmers. Farmers are the key. If you don't have farmers that are knowledgeable about hemp, that are well paid with hemp, you won't grow an industry of hemp. For sure, you need my mills and what we call chanvrières, but they are directly linked with the farmers. In France, we have cooperatives. It means that farmers are actionary. They have part of the industrial process. So it's really close. It's really linked together. And I think in the world it's moving really fast. We see different strategy. We saw the CBD going really high and now going really low. In Interchanvre, we just work on what we call industrial hemp. So we put the flower aside because it was not the same regulation. It was not the same way of cultivating it. It's not the same ecological property. It's it's totally different. So we put it aside. We have already enough to do with shive, fiber, and seed. So I think in the world we have to focus on those markets and work on the flower also. But for me, fiber, shive, and seed are even more potential in terms of ecological point of view and social need. So in the term of the society. Um, and we see a lot of projects going on in the world, different strategy. There are projects that doesn't really make sense for us in France when we see in US big factories but without a field near it. Like we are, how is it supposed to happen? Or um, but I'm really confident about it because there is more and more investors that are looking into hemp. Lots of more and more people, young people, looking into hemp. You have plenty of projects going on in Europe. And you said regulation is on the side of hemp. Yes, but not always. Not always.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say more on the side of sustainability than hemp, but hemp is still to this day, um, I could point to a bunch of books that have come out recently that are talking about sustainability, and the word hemp isn't mentioned once. You know, and so for me as a sustainability person first. I think that all bast fibers are very interesting. There's sisal, there's kanaf, there's nettle, there's so many different ones. Obviously, France is known for its linen and also known for its hemp market. Even though the hemp market is small, um, it's still the largest in Europe. Um, yeah, it would be nice to see more politicians and specific legislations going towards hemp because you can grow it um, more aggressively than you can grow linen, for example. I'm not a linen specialist, but from what I understand, it's a crop that you can only grow in a field once every few years. Whereas I know many people who keep growing hemp in the same fields year after year, as long as it gets the right nutrition.
This is not a practice that we do in France. Like for example, we're on the agricultural point of view. There is differences between linen and hemp, but hemp has to. We said every 5 years it has to come back on the field. We never have hemp. We have hemp, wheat, beetroots, whatever you want. Hemp
Okay.
after 5 years because you have a risk of disease. You are even on the soil. It's not that good, and it doesn't fit really with what hemp is promoting, like this diversity of application, but also in the field it has to be a diversity of culture of crop. Um, so we do not do it in France like this, actually.
Okay, so that's something I'm detecting some sort of myth and legend things here. Whereas you'll hear a lot of the marketing people talk about something along the lines of, hemp is really good for regrowing the soil, or maybe let's say it's good for soil structure, and it is. Like it has a good root system. It does also grow, aggressively. But you say regardless, in France you're constantly rotating.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, the same is story for linen, and it's true. Yeah, I think like you said, when you don't rotate, you're inviting disease, 100%. So a lot of people say that you can grow hemp without chemicals, without pesticides and things like that. What is the reality in France?
Truth. 100%
Truth.
truth. And this is one of the on the best assets of hemp is that now lots of people are confused between chemicals and fertilizing,
Fertilizers.
fertilizer, yeah. And yeah, hemp. We actually in France we use no chemicals, no pesticides. So and it's nowadays this is why regional politics use it and promote it a lot. We have what in France we have organizations that work on the water and have to protect the area where you get your water, and they are helping the hemp branch with financing it, and also promoting new facilities to be able to cultivating hemp in this area because of these assets of no pesticides and no irrigations. These are the two keys about water, and this is what we are also trying to bring real and be able to sell it into what we call our PSE, our offer to the farmers. This is one of the points. So this is one of the truths. One of the myth or legend or lies is that hemp is a magic plant where you can just throw it away and it will grow, and magic beans and you can do everything you want. No. This is one of the reasons there is not that much hemp in the world and in France, because you need know-how, you need facilities, and most of all know-how about the farmers, know when to seed it, when to harvest it, and even when it's cutting on the field, he has to know about retting. Retting is essential, and it's not for everyone. Like you have to know how when you have to collect your hemp on the field. So yes, there is those elements I wanted to share.
Nice. Tom, you got a question?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that because, in terms of knowledge sharing and the importance of expertise in the hemp field, France, of course, has a lot of knowledge in that. So, and in terms of the support of the political regions of the regions in France, we of course had a very good conference in the Champagne, the Open region, on the World Hemp Forum for the knowledge sharing, which was actually, in my eyes, one of the first time it opened up really to the world to invite people from the hemp industry to France to come see it at La Chanvrière after they go there to have a stand with Interchanvre. So what do you think is the most important lesson or experience the French hemp industry can teach to the rest of the world to grow their hemp industry in the correct way?
Well, the first thing you said is which is positive, that France is opening up slowly to the world and maybe getting confidence into his know-how and into his industry, and now maybe we are evolving into some things that we want to make the cake bigger than the slice we have. And so because we have to understand the history of in a small market, you want to keep your share and you want first to be solid on your markets, and you don't really want to share at the beginning. It's everyone does that. If you I think it's human, and especially with the history of hemp, where the communication has really been impacting in hemp. I will have one thing that's France could bring to other countries. Uh, yeah, maybe I already told it. It's about farming and farmers and know-how about farming, and the place of them into the creating this industry, and really create a link, a close link once again between the industrials and people that are growing hemp, and brings value to them. In France, we are seeing into the news that farmers are going back into the street because of not hemp. It's totally different subject, but we have to support them, and hemp has to go into this to this way. So, and one also things is that we have to look at the plant on its on a global point of view, not only focusing on flower, not only focusing on seed, not only focusing on one part of it, but we have to work on every part of it, the shives, the fiber, the seed, the flower also. And this is how we create an economic balance, and this is how we value hemp as it should. To do a little bit comparison with linen. Linen, they have the luxury to be able to work mostly only on fiber. Their market is based only on long fiber, and this is where they get all their wealth. In hemp, we have like this plant of the poor. We had to value it all. We had to make research on shive, to go into markets of construction, and do a lot of studies and everything. We had to go on the fiber, but not only textile, into paper, into plasturgy, into isolations, and seed. We are working on feed, but also on human consumption. We really went into deep into each part of the hemp, and see its technical potential as far as we could. It's not finished. It's not finished. Maybe will never be, but yeah, we have to work every part of the plant, and not focusing just on only one.
Yeah. So all the different applications they provide, on the one hand, possibilities, but also quite some challenges. Yeah. It's important for the farmer to work closely together with the processor, and the processor with the end markets, which it will be sold to make sure that it's grown in the right way, it's processed in the right way, and it also has a market to be able to sell it to in the end. Yeah.
I have a question about how farming actually works in France, because I don't know. I know that the co-op model is pretty popular. In Poland, where I live, it's not popular. The farmers are they just kind of say it feels like communism to them, so they don't want to do it, even if it's to their own disadvantage. But co-ops are also quite popular in the States, right? So you have a lot of cotton farmers who own a cotton gin, and that's where they do the processing. But one of the biggest differences. So there's two things from my takeaway from the years of one time talking to the Alliance, right? This Alliance of Flax and Hemp, who's based in France. I asked them at one point. This was probably 10 years ago. Why is linen so big, and why is hemp so small? And their shortest, in the shortest way possible, their answer was that just linen is a bit more organized. That linen has more traceability and things like that. But my question is, what does France do specifically about subsidies and crop insurance? Like, are crops in general insurable in France? Because they are in the States. So, for example, if you have a year in the States where all spring long it's just rain, and you can't plant your corn, you will get paid by the insurance company for the corn you couldn't plant. Or, for example, in Poland, we might have an entire crop, dozens of hectares of hemp destroyed by hail, by the ice balls falling from the sky, but there's no crop insurance here, so it's just a loss. And so for me, and this is kind of my question, is I see these, these big companies, buying biomass for making paper, buying biomass for making CBD, and they're making pretty good profits and all of this stuff. And yet, all of the risk is actually on the farmer. The risk is on the farmer to have the good soil, to have good rain, to have good processes, to have good machinery and things like that. And yet, if a hailstorm comes, they're poor. And so I always have seen crop insurance as something that needs to happen in the hemp industry in general, and I'm wondering what France does.
So I probably won't be the best person to answer to it. Maybe the farmers would have been, but maybe for sure it would have been the best. But in France we didn't really have insurance. Also, like in this year has been a pretty bad year because of the weather, like lots of water, too much water. So we had lower uh, tons of fiber of throw, and so and farmers won't have. It depends of the industries they are work with, the co-ops they are working with. I know some of them will help, some other will not. It depends of the contract because every contract is different also. But there is no insurance, so to speak, if my knowledge is good. Maybe if people are listening and they are more info on this, they can complete, and maybe I will if I can comment or everything. But there is no really crop insurance. If you do not harvest, you have no revenue, and this is why farmers work and is deeply harmed. Like it's you have. I don't think you have a job that has as much variable, like things that can change. You work with weather. You work with the living. You try to work with industry. You have to manage your accountability. They do, like a farmer is doing everything, and they are the best of the entrepreneurs, so to say. But yeah, there is no insurance.
Okay. One more question about farming. We'll see what the truth is with this question. Maybe when we start gathering other people from other countries, we'll see what their answer is. What is and if you don't know, you don't have to answer. What's like the average size of a field of hemp in France? Like, because for me, it's at a certain point, it's about scale, right? Like if you're only going to do 1 hectare, it's probably not worth it. Whereas if you go to Ukraine or the United States, you might have one farmer has thousands of hectares. And so in France, what does that look like, to the best of your knowledge?
It's 10 hectares per farmers. I don't know the size of the field. Like farmers can have different 10 hectares but separated. But yes, it's mostly it. There is a huge difference. For example, if you are more in the east near La Chanvrière, it will be huge field. And if you go into Occitanie or in south of France, you will have 1-2 hectares maximum. So it's really depending on of course, of the geographic. Geographic, but yes, it's 10 hectares per farmer.
Okay. Nice. Tom?
Maybe we can make a little comparison between the flax and hemp industry. How do you see those markets evolving in the coming years? The industrial hemp and the flax industry together in combination or separately?
Michael slowly introduced it with alliance. So I went 2 weeks ago to their congress, in Edinburgh, and we for sure have to co-create and do it together. Alliance, historically, they worked, and you said it, Michael, mostly on linen, and hemp was only on the title. There was no hemp into their strategy. It's only getting real since 2 years, because now we have a machine that can harvest hemp and put it into the sketching line of linen. But before it was not existent. Like it was not existent. So basically, Alliance is the European organization that is working on linen, mostly textiles, luxury, and textile industry. And we have someone representing hemp into the administration council. And so we are working together, and what we see that they get interesting into hemp because linen in the past year had really high prices, difficulties into the harvesting with yield really low. It's less resistant to climate change and everything. So hemp came as good solutions to bring diversity and get maybe a stronger economic balance. But so there was this year 2,500 hectares of hemp for long fiber, because when we talk about hemp and linen, we talk about long fiber basically. In textiles. So one thing is sure is that all linen producers are not convinced with hemp now. So, and especially after these years, I don't think surfaces will grow really much in 2025. We will see. But yes, it's existence, and it's really positive for the hemp industry. It's also bringing really high value for the farmers. And I see in the chat that I have to define long fiber. So yeah, it's a bit technical, but when we talk about textiles in hemp, hemp is 2.5 meters basically. You do not have any facilities that can transform it as it is. So you have to bring it into a size that will be will fit with, for example, cotton spinning or wool spinning or linen. Linen is a long fiber, so it's 80 to 90 centimeters, and we can do 100% textiles, and basically you can do with hemp what you can do with linen. It's you have know-how. We have to learn a little bit, but in the future this is what we will be able to do. When talking about semi-long fiber, it's on the wool process. It's a bit thicker. I don't know how to say thicker. Thicker not tissue.
The fiber.
Yeah, thicker. Yeah, but the spinner, what do?
They make threads.
Yarn. Yes, it's a thicker yarn. So and everything. So it will be more not for clothing, for example, not that much for clothing. And then you have cottonized fiber, which is the most advanced one, at least in France, and where you have volume, but you cannot do 100% yarn or 100% fabrics. You have to blend it with other materials, for example, cotton or lyocell's or wool or anything. So this has a three markets. There is another one that is cellulose, and we have in France Ironi and RBX Creation working on that. They are working on extracting cellulose from shive to do like a lyocell of hemp, but it's not yet industrialized. So yes, I think to summarize it a little bit, hemp and linen will work together, and we have meetings together. We are interconnected structure, but we have to figure out really the way and who does what into which market, because the linen industry, they do not work the same as us in terms of prices. They will produce a lot of shive, for example. How do they value the shive? So they do not go into confrontation into our historical market. So there are a lot of questions that we have to answer, but we have to answer it together. So for sure we have to work with the linen industry and hemp industry together. Yes.
And if I'm correct, now there is a certification from the European Alliance for Hemp and Flax for the European certified flax production, but they are also developing one such certification for long fibers made by hand plant in Europe.
Yes, they have what they call European flax. This is what you're talking about. Yeah. It's going to they have the European flax. They want to do the same with hemp, but it's in process. It won't be tomorrow for sure. Just one thing, I have just 12% of battery. I just have to go check my my charger if it's okay, and we'll be able to put it into the. I come back.
No problem. I'll go grab some water.
Yeah, I'll give him a slap.
There we go.
That's very interesting. Nice discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
So we do not get cut by battery. So yeah, European hemp with the labelization is not for tomorrow. It's in process.
Yeah, and for the future, but it's also a nice thing to help legitimize the hemp side of the long fiber production in the future, and to get more control over the process, to learn more about it. So yeah, interesting.
What was one of the? What do you think is a common misconception? What was one of the things that surprised you most, I guess, about hemp that turned out not to be true?
Maybe it's not. It's what I already said. Like, it's not magic plants. Like it needs water. It needs sun. It needs know-how and everything. It was more about my question, but was there is no more hemp, and now I know it's more complicated than that. Like, we always have this summarized article on the web, and we say wow, and then we look at the reality, and to bring an industry, you need investment. You need this know-how, you need the market at the end, you need to convince, you need to bring communications right with your message. and also you have to manage this growing market where you have lots of structure communicating together, and everyone has maybe we do not work as much as we should together for now. There is a huge work on this side, because it's an evolving market and growing one, and so things has to stabilize, so to speak. But yeah, so I would say that.
Okay, if a company not from France, say Spain or Canada or Poland or elsewhere, wanted to have access to the results of the French hemp industry, if they wanted to buy, long fibers or medium length fibers or short fibers or any other constituent of hemp, what would be the best way to how does someone find long fibers, for example? Like if you've done 2,500 hectares of hemp just for long fiber this year, then I would imagine that you've had, at least let's say 2,000 tons of it, and it needs to get sold. So how do people find this long fiber? Is there some sort of portal, some kind of database? Is it just that you have to know the company that was processing it?
Yeah.
Is there a list of processors somewhere? Like, does the country of France have like a database of places that scutch and spin and weave and do all the other processing? How does that work?
We do not have yet this precise map of who does what. Especially we tried to do this for textiles industry, but it's constantly evolving. It's really hard to follow. But in general, if you want to penetrate the French market, Interchanvre is the gate. Like we are most of the time the first interlocutor, so first person you should speak to, because according to your problematics, we will be able to say whether you should do it this or that, and which one you should go see, which industry or which actors you should see or should not see. So, for example, if you come to me and you say you need a long fiber, I will say, okay, I will introduce you to Safilin or to Interchanvre Bio or to Alliance or to people that know about and produce the long fiber. And then it will be in their hand to say, okay, Michael, I can send you long fiber, or sorry, Michael, I don't want, or I don't have any more long fiber, come back next year. But
Sure.
after, the commercial part is not on our hands in Interchanvre. We just link, and if we can have a feedback about how it went, it's even better. But we don't go until the end of the relation between you, for example, and another actor for long fiber.
Okay, so I guess how would that work specifically? Is there a form to submit on your website, or it's better to email somebody, or what's the best way to contact someone like you at Interchanvre to learn how to buy materials?
You go on our website and you go on contacts and you will receive an email. We have lots of demand, so for sure it won't be. I won't get for sorry. It won't be for sure a 100 positive answer, but yes, you can send us a message. Tell us what you have in mind, your problematics, and if we can answer, we will for sure. And we are always glad to have contact in different country, because it's always good to have an exchange and see how it goes there, because we can read article and everything, but it's always better to have someone on the field that know the market. So we say donnant donnant in French, but give to give, it's yes, it's an exchange. So yeah, contact us on our website, and we will answer. What you have to understand in Interchanvre that we are only 2 people working full time, so my director and myself, and we have now a part-time student who work on the business development of the PSE, the PSE. So we do not have like this huge organizations that can answer to every demand and follow every demand. We have to focus our energy to what we think is the best. So yes, just to bring
Thank you.
Yeah, busy. Yeah, in terms of industrial hemp in the French economy, what do you see is the future for that? What role do you see industrial hemp playing in the future of the French economy?
Growing for sure. When we say hemp, for me we always have to precise what hemp are you talking about? Is it about seed, about shive, about fiber, which market? But on a general point of view, it's growing. It will keep growing. For example, in construction buildings, we had this year a new regulation that is a really good news for the insurance of building high building to until 28 meters and more. So this is a really good sign because we will be able to construct more and higher with hemp, and it's certified and everything. We saw that the investments are growing also. For example, Kavak, they did more than 20 million investment to double their capacity of isolation wool. We have also Planet Chance that is going to triple their capacity. La Chambrière is planning also on investing. So everyone is investing. We saw that there is so this will bring more hemp into the market, so people will hear more about hemp, and it will be a virtuous circle, I guess. And so yes, it's really positive. Both of the markets that are increasing the French industry is construction and textile. They are the 2 main market we are working on, and that has the biggest potential according to us. Plastergy is also a really good market, and we already have good accomplishment. For example, there is 10 millions of vehicles driving with hemp into it, and we do not know it. It's more ecological because it's replacing talc and fiberglass. It's lighter. It can be recyclable. So people are starting to understand the potential of hemp outside of our community of hemp lover.
Yeah, that is nice for the ordinary people, the people who are not yet aware of hemp.
Yeah.
You can say, yeah, you might not even know it, but the car you are driving actually already has hemp in it. And this is one of the things it can do, and it can do so much more.
Indeed.
In the French market, it's for now structured to really keep the supply internal, so everything that is being grown in France is also being processed and sold in France, or does the French market also really want to expand and supply the broader European region with hemp products?
in the philosophy of the hemp industry, we try to sell, like when I say we, the industrial are trying to sell their production to the closest industrials, but for sure there are exportations, mostly in Europe, but even abroad, where the demand is. For the textiles, for example, there is exportation because where to transform your fiber in France you cannot. We do not have the facilities, so you have to go in Turkey, into China, into India, Pakistan. Like it goes abroad for sure. But we are trying, and in our philosophy is to communicate and to feed the French market and the local market. Or even if you are at the border of Belgium, work with Belgium for sure. If you are at the border of Germany, work with Germany. But yes, there is these two parts: local and exportation for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably also why there are so many coffeeheads in France, because it's a very big country, but there is all local processing units with the cooperative who are working together to make the first growth and the transformation, and then can be used locally, or then it can be finished somewhere else. But in terms of ecology, it doesn't make sense to grow the hemp somewhere, like you say, and then ship it off to a far off place to process it, because it's counterlogical.
Yeah.
I think also a model which Michael would love to replicate, for example, in Poland.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention about the hemp French hemp industry is that we are trying to create a link also with other biomass. Like we have to get stronger. As we said, we are big in the hemp world. We are small in the agricultural one. So we are trying, for example, into the construction. We are not trying. We are doing actually. Working with wood, working with straw, working with earth, branches, and it works because there are lots of subjects where we have common objectives, and we are much more strong to the political years and to the economical years if we are together. So we are trying to do it into, for example, construction, but also on textiles, working, for example, with linen, with wool, and because you do not have thousands of materials that you can grow into your soil, into France, for example, so we have to get together, and this is maybe what everyone should do.
Yeah, I agree. The key is to use natural materials from the earth, which can be grown from the earth and also return to the earth at the end. So it's great to not just have the hyper focus on the hemp, but work together with other natural industries to grow it together, replace the fossilized industry. Provide a valuable and sustainable alternative.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to add anything, Michael or Joe, but maybe this is a good place to end it for today.
Yeah, I basically said what I had to say. Maybe on what we are working on, what we call PSC, prestation for environmental services. We are looking into private companies to finance those indicators, to get them into their reporting, CSRD, for example. And it's a huge work, and to bring more value to the farmers. So if anyone want to learn about it or to help us make it better and or maybe even sell it. We are our ears. And yeah, no, thank you, Michael and Tom, for this great exchange. Maybe I will have a question also for you. So one day, if we talk together, we could have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and for the people who might be watching, thank you very much for checking it out. Hopefully you learned a lot from it, and yeah, come check in the next time. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And this was the Hemp Truth, Lies and Legends podcast with our valuable guest Joël Lagneau from Interchanvre, Michael Klepacz, correct me if I have to say it differently, from Natural Materials Unlimited, and Tom Pankras from hemp-producing.com. See you next time.
Thank you very much.